Welcome to Raccoon Rambles. Tonight's conversation is going to be a process of self-inquiry that's going to help maximize our understanding and intention as we head into a new year. So just like sampling a fine wine or experiencing a gourmet meal, you don't want to just gulp it down, do you? No, you want to savor it and enjoy it and extract the flavor and experience. And we want to do the same thing with this chapter of our life that has just passed. We want to be able to extract all of those powerful learning lessons and everything else so we can move forward in the best way possible. Isn't that right? So to start off, I want you to describe your past year in one word. What one word describes the past year of your life? If you're a raccoon, it might be trash. But maybe for us humans, maybe it was growth. Maybe it was roller coaster. Maybe the word was progressive. Maybe it was interesting, spiritual. What one word describes your past year? One word to describe your past year. Raccoon, that's mine. Having a raccoon just standing on my legs. The next question is, what three things made this year better than other years? What went well this year? And it might be you connected with mentors or role models or coaches better this year. Maybe you decided to get your priorities in order and you prioritized your happiness. Maybe you learned how to set some boundaries this year. Maybe you made some progressive changes to your career path or your schooling. Perhaps you took a bunch of holidays, had some travel experiences, made some new friends. What three things made this year better than other years? And I'd encourage you to write it down. Just journal everything we go through here tonight. You don't have to write it in the chat. This is private, just for you. If you want to write anything in the chat, great. I'd love to know more about you, but no pressure. The next question is, what were three goals or priorities you had for the past year? And what were the outcomes of each? And if you didn't officially set goals, just think about the things you were working towards. These are kind of like unspoken goals. So a goal or priority might have been to get a better job. A goal or priority might have been to make the most of your knee injury, learn from it and overcome it so you can help others overcome similar knee injuries. It might have been to finish school, which you did. It might have been to pay off some debts. Where's your progress on that? It might have been to distance yourself from some toxic environments. How did you do on that? Did you resist hanging out with some of those people that you know aren't good influences on you? So what were three goals you had for this past year and what were the outcomes of each? Now, if you didn't achieve any of your goals, What was the reason for not achieving it? Was it that you didn't have a practical plan or a clear plan? Was it that you just got distracted with your focus? Was it that you got discouraged, you let self-doubt get the better of you? Or you talked yourself out of it somehow? You decided to do comfortable, fun things instead of progressive things for your life? Maybe you let fear get the best of you and you decided not to commit and not to put in enough effort. What was your effort level, 1 to 10? Maybe it was just your effort level wasn't appropriate. For example, if your goal was to find a boyfriend or girlfriend, maybe you only put a 5 or 6 out of 10 level of effort into it. And you could have been doubling down on those efforts. Who knows? See if you can reflect on why you weren't able to hit those goals this year. Now, question 5. What was the most important lesson this year taught you? Maybe this year taught you how to rely on yourself. Maybe this year taught you how to rely on the love and care of Allah, God, the higher power, whatever word you want to use for it. Maybe this year taught you that emotional and spiritual prosperity is the true wealth. Maybe this year taught you not to sweat the small stuff. Or maybe it taught you to keep the main thing the main thing. You were getting distracted with all the little things in life and you lost focus of the main things. Maybe this year taught you that you're a highly capable learner with high potential and you just need to remember that. Maybe this year taught you that you just need to remember what needs to be remembered. What did this year teach you? Write down your lessons from this past year. Okay, now, if you could go back in time 1 year, what advice would you give yourself? It might be trust your gut feelings. Listen to your intuition. Spend more time with the right people. Stop trying to win over the wrong people. It doesn't work. Maybe you would tell yourself to just love God more and everything else will take care of itself. What advice would you give yourself if you could go back in time 1 year? Maybe it would be ask for help sooner. Don't try to go it alone. Maybe it would be to find or join a supportive community. Maybe it would be don't take on everything just because you can. Have some discernment on your commitments because overwhelm can lead to burnout. What advice would you give yourself? What is one empowering belief that you developed about yourself this year? Maybe it's that with the right attitude, a lot of things are possible for you. Maybe it's that you can set healthy boundaries in your life. Maybe it's that you've done a lot of good things in the past and you're capable of doing even more good things in future. Maybe the empowering belief is that you are not limited by your potential, you're only limited by time. Because if you had 1,000,000 years, you could pass every school program, you could master every job or profession, you could learn every language, You're not limited by potential, you're limited by time. Maybe you learned that you're loved more than you know in more ways than you know. You just need to pay attention to all the ways you're being loved in the moment. Hey, baby. The next question is, what's one new skill that you developed this year? What's one new skill? It might be a mental toughness skill you developed this year, how to purify your self-concept, how to crush self-doubt, how to turn mental pain into power. Maybe it was a skill like meditation. Maybe you learned Kriya Yoga. Maybe you learned a communication skill. Maybe you learned about 5 love languages and how to love people better. What's one new skill you learned this year? Now the next question is a really good one for gratitude. Who were 3 key people in your year that made this year better than other years? Who were 3 key people that made this year better than other years for you? Write them down. And maybe consider telling them with a little note of gratitude, right? So if you have some repetition in some of your answers with the themes and stuff, that's okay. The concepts and reflections will just sink in deeper if we're coming at it from many different angles. So the next part is going to be to do a number of fill in the blanks. So here's a fill in the blank. Fill in the blank. This year I got rid of what? What did you get rid of this year? Maybe you got rid of a bunch of old clutter you've been hanging on to for a long time. Maybe you got rid of a job that wasn't working for you, or a relationship that wasn't working for you. Maybe you got rid of an internal struggle you were having. Maybe a limiting belief you got rid of. What was it? What did you get rid of this year? The next fill in the blank is, this year made me appreciate what? What did this year make you appreciate? Other than these little bandits. What did this year really make you appreciate? Did it make you really appreciate the present moment with even more depth and open-mindedness? Did it make you appreciate meditation more? Did it make you appreciate working on mental fitness more than ever? Did it make you appreciate some of the simple joys in life that are available to us at any time? Did it make you appreciate the importance of empowering wisdom to remove our suffering? You know, many of us are under spells of suffering that we don't even understand. And the empowering wisdom that we access, that's available to us at all times, can help us to identify and overcome some of those inner struggles. Now, the next fill in the blank is, I will always remember this year for what? What will you remember this year for? Some changes in perspective you had? If so, what way were they? Some experiences you had? What were those experiences that you'll always remember this year for? Maybe some really special experiences with friends or family or nature. Maybe there are some breakthroughs you had. What will you remember this year for? Okay, now the next question is, where do you want to do better next year? Do you want to do better mentally somehow? If so, how? Do you want to do better physically, maybe with your physical fitness and health? Maybe spiritually you want to do better. Maybe you want to have more of a spiritual practice, whether that's reading or meditation and learning, or spiritual adventurousness and exploring some different things. You know, where do you want to do better next year? It's time to set some intentions. And after you write them down, I want to ask you, if these intentions are met, will it make you happy, yes or no? And if the answer is no, why prioritize this stuff? How can you set yourself up for success with these priorities? And who can help and assist you with achieving these priorities? So these are some just reflection questions that might help you on the path forward. And now next I would ask you, what's one small action step you can take to move yourself forward in the direction you've chosen for the upcoming year? If you were your own coach here today, knowing what you know about yourself and everything else, from a place of maximum love and wisdom, what would you tell yourself to do as one small baby step to move yourself forward in the direction of your intentions for next year? Finally, what are some of your final thoughts or key takeaways from today's reflection, this year in review reflection? Throw it into the chat. I'd love to hear from you, what you got out of it. I'd encourage you to revisit this reflection sequence at the end of each year. We want to extract as many of these learning lessons as we can. We want to be able to recalibrate our direction for the next year by checking the score on how we're doing on things. And most of all, we want to practice gratitude for some of the experiences we may have had to help us appreciate our journey and what we're going through. This past year was a chapter in your life story like none other, and you're the hero in your life story. And maybe it was a celebratory chapter, or maybe it was like a plot twist in a movie, and we're going to see how this past chapter brings out some of your heroic qualities eventually to overcome and rise above this, just like the hero in a movie when all the tides turn against them. So whatever you're going through, from me and the Raccoons, we just want to send lots of love and positive vibes your way because you matter, your mission matters, your story matters, and it's an honor and a pleasure to be a part of your journey and to be a part of your year-end reflection